It has been 84 years since we learned that Rihanna filed for the trademark for Fenty Hair. Oh my gosh, actually, it was 2022, about this time of year, when we heard about the trademark for Fenty Hair. It is finally almost here. It is launching this coming week. At least everything we know so far about what Fenty Hair is going to look like. Not what the actual hair is going to look like, but what the product is going to look like. Did I need to clarify that? No, but my brain wouldn't let it go. And one thing that you will notice about this show is it is a very hair-heavy show. Like, so much hair. A lot of hair. Because we also have to update on Brooke Shields' new hair care line that's specifically meant for women over 40. We now know the price point and what the products are, and I would love to know what you think. Let's see, what else we got in here? We'll be talking about a brand that is targeting Gen Alpha kids for skincare, but it's probably not what you think that it's going to be. It's not what I was expecting. In business news, we have updates on Deciem, which owns The Ordinary. We also have information about what's happening with Kohls, because, you know, there's Sephora inside Kohls stores and how that may be affecting Kohls sales. Is it good? Is it bad? What is going on over there? I can tell you that most of it is not good. It's coming down to the wire for brands to become MOCRA compliant, which is a new US law that's going into effect on July 1st. But there's a company that wants to help brands to become compliant. I have the details on that. I think it's pretty interesting. And then NYX has a very heartwarming, touching campaign to go along with LA Pride. So if you are interested in any of those stories, hang tight. We're about to jump into it right now. Hello, my friend. If you have been here before, hi, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back. And if you're new here, hi to you too. My name is Jen. You've stumbled upon the channel called JENLUV, and on this channel, we talk makeup news. And in this series called What's Up in Makeup, we do weekly makeup news of what happened the previous week, all across the beauty industry, all of the makeup news. And we are starting with the story that was in all of the beauty news outlets. I have my little list that I click on every week, and everybody was talking about this, and it's the highly anticipated Fenty Hair. As of the time of filming, we don't know a ton, but pretty soon we're gonna know a lot. So I will tell you everything I know right now. The first thing I know is the launch date, which is June 13th. Here is the short promo commercial for the line. The caption for the video reads, "A new family is moving in. At Fenty Hair is pulling up, and it's time to finally have the hair experience you've been waiting for. You know how much switching my hair up matters to me. I've had almost every texture, color, length, from weaves to braids to natural, so I am launching a flexible line of products for not only every hair want, but every single product is designed to strengthen and repair all types of hair, which is what we truly need. It's time to play and get stronger by the style." Fenty Hair also put up a promo clip of Rihanna, and she is talking on camera about the inspiration for Fenty Hair.
Hair has always been very personal to me. It's an outlet of self-expression, creativity. I feel like it's also been markers of my evolution and growth over the years, both as an artist and as a person. So launching Fenty Hair was something I was really, really passionate about. I wanted to create a lineup of products that were easy to use and included repair in every step. I also needed products that could keep up with me and fit into my lifestyle, which we all know is crazy.
Now, in the video, I captured the video and then I paused it so we could see some of the products. And you can see some of the products, even though, at least in my time, they're not listed anywhere. So let's talk about what we can see. One product is called the Richer One. It is a moisture repair deep conditioner. There's also the Comeback Kid, which is an instant damage repair treatment, the Control Hair Thickening something, I don't know, and the Home Curl Defining Cream, and then one that you can't see the whole name of it. It says the gel and something, I don't know, something to do with strong hair. There's also a mystery product with a pump. That is also coming. Not sure what that one is yet. You can sign up for email notifications about Fenty Hair right now on the Fenty Hair website. Early access to the products coming tomorrow. That is June 10th at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Speaking of hair, last week we talked about what we are tracking as our 10th celebrity beauty line of 2024, and it is a line called Commence by Brooke Shields. And at the time, we didn't know a ton about it. We didn't know what the products were. We didn't know what the price point was. We know all of that now because it has officially launched. It is available now on her website. Like I mentioned in the intro, it's specifically, according to Brooke, meant for women 40 and up. There are a total of 3 products in the line. We have a dry shampoo, a serum, and a leave-in conditioner. The dry shampoo will run you $21. They call it a 2-in-1 instant shampoo. What are the 2 things, you may ask? The listing says that it both cleanses and balances. For the second product, we have the serum. It is called the Root Serum. It is said to repair and thicken hair, and it costs $30. The final product is a 3-in-1 leave-in conditioner and can be purchased for $26, said to nourish, soften, and smooth hair. There is a note from Brooke on the website. This is what it says. I'm embracing my next chapter with you. The more I learn and know, the more I want to do to help other women age fearlessly, honestly, and beautifully. We have developed these products with passion and purpose, designed to be easy, effective, and addition to your hair care routine. Let's embrace our next chapter together. Now, this line has gotten some criticism. Commence was actually an already existing platform that switched names. So the website, the Instagram, all of that started off as Beginning Is Now. And from what I understand, Beginning Is Now was started as kind of a support platform for people during the height of the pandemic in 2020 and 2021. And the critique of this is that, well, now that we are done with the height of that, with the huge mess of that, now let's go ahead and make money off of this community. And some people are seeing that as a little bit cruddy. As I was browsing the website, there was one section that sat a little strange with me. There is a statement that says extensive salon testing proved, and there's a little asterisk next to the word extensive to further define that. And when you scroll down, there is small gray font that is much less bold than the claim that there was extensive testing. And what it says is that the clinical study was of 30 panelists over 2 weeks. And for a beauty company, I'm not saying that this is the only company that does things like this. I mean, you'll see mascara companies say that a mascara has been proven to, volumize your lashes by 4,972%. I mean, there's so many companies that do this, but it is something that stood out to me where I was like, that's interesting. I wonder if that's enough. I don't know. I wonder. Then I went into the claims for the products, and there's some pretty sciencey claims in here. Some of them are subjective where you can kind of observe them. Some of them really should be measured with science in order to know whether the claim is actually real. So for example, one of the things the dry shampoo says is that it cleaned the scalp. And I'm wondering, okay, so you're spraying something on your scalp in order to absorb oil. Great, fantastic. I love dry shampoo. It's wonderful. But is it cleaning the scalp? I don't know if that's what dry shampoo does. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not the biggest hair person. I could be wrong there, but it just is counterintuitive to me that a dry shampoo would be claimed to actually clean rather than just absorb oil, which is what dry shampoos are supposed to do. The next was with the leave-in conditioner. And like I said, some of the things are observable, like things like reducing frizz, smoothing the hair, improving the overall feel. Yeah, absolutely. We can observe those with our naked eye. We can tell. You don't need any scientific data measurements. But then it goes on to say that it increases hair hydration and hair strength. That sounds like something that really needs to be scientifically measured. Not saying that they haven't. I don't know. I tried to reach out to them and ask. They haven't gotten back to me yet. But I would hope that if they're putting that out there as a scientific claim, that those claims were scientifically measured, because you can measure hydration and you can measure hair strength. It's the same thing with the root serum. So one of the claims says that you can see increased volume, but it also talks about enhanced scalp hydration, hydrated hair, improved overall scalp health, and strengthened hair. And what does scalp health really mean? How is that defined? And I know some of y'all that are new here are going to be like, Jen, you are reading way too deep into this. This is a celebrity hair care line. What are you doing? And it's because I'm a nerd. And if you don't care, then I fully support your right not to care. I'm just pointing it out because it struck me as odd, and that is what I do here. So if you don't care, totally, completely fine. So like I said, I did reach out to Commence and was like, hey, do you have this data, the scientific data public somewhere that I can look over it just so that I can share it with my audience? And again, I haven't heard back. It's only been a few days. So, it is what it is. And I will tell you, I am not a Brooke Shields hater. I am a big Brooke Shields fan. I've loved Brooke Shields movies and loved her since I was a child, since she was the one on all of the ads and I looked up to her. So this is not a Brooke Shields hating thing. I just want to see, if you're going to say something science, then it should have the science there for people to read if they would like. That's just my opinion. Feel free to disagree. One of the most interesting discussions to me that's come out of 2024 so far is the talk about kids and skincare, not teenagers and not baby skincare, but kids in between those stages. What's appropriate? Is skincare appropriate? I actually have a full video that I did just kind of talking about the science of it and my personal opinions. Being a mom and being a formally trained educator, I shared my thoughts on Sephora kids and skincare, and I will link that video down below in case you're interested in watching it. The TLDW on that is yes, skincare is fine for kids as long as it is the appropriate skincare. There are some skincare ingredients that are not okay for kids to use. They can actually harm their skin. In some cases, some skincare that is meant for adults can increase the chances of a child getting sun damage, which can increase their chances of skin cancer later on. So it is a very serious topic. So when I see anything related to this, a brand that's marketing to children for skincare, my ears perk up, or my eyes perk up, or my eyes open. Probably not perk up, but they open, and I want to know what's going on with this. Because there's a lot of money to be made here. There is an open market. I mean, we see skincare companies like Bubble that aren't directly marketing to kids, but have been adopted very heavily by Gen Alpha. But there hasn't been a standout brand yet, at least to my knowledge, that's targeting Gen Alpha boys. This brand that just launched is looking to do that. A previous Estee Lauder executive, her name is Sabrina Yaville. She has started the skincare company Grime, specifically targeted at Gen Alpha boys. She was the direct global and marketing strategy person over at Estee Lauder for a decade, and her whole job was to identify gaps in the beauty industry. So that's what she's doing now. And being a mom of 3 boys, ages 6, 8, and 10, she saw that gap in skincare for boys. She says in the article that's linked down below how there's so much baby care, right? There's so much for skincare for babies. And then there's skincare for acne-prone teenagers or deodorant for teenagers, those common things that we think of that teenagers need. But where's the skincare in between that appeals to just kids? Products that will clean and hydrate, that's pretty much all kids need, other than, of course, sunscreen. Let me show you this website, because I think, being the mom of a 12, almost 13-year-old boy, I kind of like this marketing. I think it looks good. So one of the slogans is all rad, zero bad, but the one that shows up prominent on their website when you click on it is lather up, legend, adventure is calling, and there's cooler things to do than take a shower. So we make sure you do it right the first time. And I love this messaging. I feel like it's speaking directly to my son, son who does not want to waste time showering. He has better things to do, like gaming with his friends. Sabrina said she was working on this line for a while, but what really motivated her to get going and launch it was the news about Sephora kids. And her whole point is that parents just don't have the guidance or the information in order to make good, smart choices for their kids. It's just a gap in the market where people just haven't talked about it much. And she feels like because of all that news surrounding mostly girls going into Sephora and buying high-end skincare, she says she feels that there is a, quote, higher consciousness among parents of, wait a minute, what should they be using? So what did she launch? Because she kind of rushed it to launch, there's only 2 products available, which I personally would rather. Just launch what you got. You can always launch other things later. We have learned that. Don't put anything on market that you're not ready for. So she launched probably one of the more simple products. It is a $15.99 body and face wash. She made it multi-purpose on purpose because she wanted young boys to have a simple skincare routine. Because again, like my son is a perfect example of this. He doesn't want to spend a lot of time in the shower. He wants to get in, he wants to get out. She's going a little clean beauty route, but I get it. It's a marketing thing. It's big right now. Totally get it. She says it contains natural ingredients like aloe, glycerin, and willow bark. It's tested to be non-allergenic, which of course we all know is not a regulated term, so not a fan of that claim. But again, I get where she's going with it. She says it's vetted by pediatricians. Again, not regulated. How many pediatricians? What are their qualifications? I'm not a big fan of that marketing either. But again, I get it. But what I really thought was interesting was the scent that she chose, which I think that my son would absolutely love. Coconut, raspberry, and cantaloupe extracts. Love that. I know some kids are sensitive to fragrance though, so that would be an allergy that those parents might want to look out for, even though it says non-allergenic. Also on the site, she has 3 unflavored lip balms. It's a set for $9.99. The design of the packaging is actually really cool. She hired Santa Cruz skateboards designer Jim Phillips to do the graphics, and it was inspired by grunge bands. Her goal was to have the products be cool for kids all the way up through their teen years. I did show it to my son John, and he looked at it and he went, yeah, that looks kind of cool. But he didn't really have a strong opinion about it. I didn't expect him to though. He's almost 13. He doesn't really have a strong opinion about much right now. He's just living his life on the path. But if you are interested in purchasing Grime, it is available on their website right now. We have 2 stories in business news this week, starting with Deciem. They have now been fully acquired by Estee Lauder. They've been buying up Deciem, which they are now, Deciem, the umbrella, is The Ordinary and Naya. They had other brands under there that they've gotten rid of since then, but they've been buying this company that has these other companies under it in pieces, and now they fully own it. But listen to this, these numbers are staggering. So they closed the purchase of the remaining interests on May 31st of 2024 using cash on hand for an estimated $860 million. That's just for the last piece of it. They say that the total investment that they put into buying Deciem was approximated at $1.7 billion. Oh my gosh. That's a lot. But The Ordinary is so well loved. I've heard wonderful things about Naiad stuff. I've never tried any of it, but I've heard great things. And very rarely do I hear anything negative about The Ordinary. Mostly just that it can be a little difficult to navigate their product range and figure out what products are best, what order to use them, things like that. But they've put a lot of guides on their website to help people, which I think is great. But I feel like The Ordinary really stepped into it again, an empty hole in the market of ingredient transparency and a low price point for these high quality science-backed ingredients. So it does not surprise me that Deciem is worth $1.7 billion. At least that's what was paid for it. Whether it's still worth it, I don't know. But I would imagine it is, because Estee Lauder wouldn't be paying for it if it wasn't worth it. So congratulations to the crew over at Deciem. For the second story, I have a thing in my head that Sephora Inside may be cursed, because we saw what happened with Sephora Inside JCPenney. You know what? Maybe it's not Sephora that's cursed. Maybe it's just that the companies that are bringing Sephora Inside into their businesses, it's just not helping the business enough as a whole. In late 2022, JCPenney started removing their Sephoras that were inside JCPenney. And that was because Sephora didn't renew their 15-year contract. And actually, there was a big lawsuit in 2020 because Sephora was trying to pull out of that deal early because JCPenney declared bankruptcy. And they were like, get out of the hole. Like, get me out of here. Now JCPenney seems to be doing better, but Sephora left and then they joined Kohls. And now you can find Sephora inside Kohls instead of Sephora inside JCPenney. This is what's going on with Kohls that makes me nervous for this partnership continuing, in that Kohls Corporation reported their first quarter results and they're not great. They're missing expectations across the board, leading to a drastic cut in their 4-year guidance. Comparable sales dropped 4.4%. It's far worse than their prediction of 1.7%. That was what had been anticipated. Kohls stock plummeted as much as 27% in New York trading, the company's largest single-day drop on record. Despite offering deep discounts and sales and Kohls Cash and all of that, they saw a decline in clearance item sales, which made it even worse. They're also saying that their holiday sales last winter were not as good as they had expected. So there is a lot of pressure on Sephora to bring customers into Kohls so they will not only purchase from the Sephora, but also from the rest of the store. Executives told analysts that Kohls with Sephora's inside saw more traffic and a mid-single-digit sales lift compared to the rest of the chain. So it seems like it's good to have a Sephora in Kohls, but there's only 200 Kohls stores of all of them that have a Sephora inside. So my question to you is, do you think Sephora can save Kohls? Is that something where Sephora is the destination and then you just kind of walk around the perimeter and see what else you need and grab some other things? Do you think the Kohls by themselves without the Sephoras will be able to stand on their own? Are you a Kohls fan, not a Kohls fan? Let me know in the comments. In science regulation news this week, we're talking MOCRA, and regulations are not too epic and exciting, but this is going to affect all beauty brands that sell within the United States. MOCRA is the Modernization of Cosmetics Regulation Act of 2022, and it is officially going into full force. It is being implemented. Brands are being held accountable as of July 1st. That's really soon. And unlike other countries who do a much better job of this than here in the US, this is the first major change in cosmetic regulations here in the US since 1938. Overall, from what I've been reading around the interwebs, the MOCRA law that the FDA developed is pretty good. Brands seem to be on board with recognizing that the things that they're going to put in place will help with customers and keeping them safe, but at the same time, brands are concerned about being able to report all of the things the FDA wants to report, and they just have a general concern of how it's going to affect their business. Starting in less than a month from now, brands will need to submit serious adverse event reports, facility registration, safety substantiation, and product listings associated with the use of cosmetic products to the FDA. They will have to say, I make this product, this is what I'm making, here is where it is made, these are the ingredients, and this is what this product is used for. And one of the obstacles that brands are facing is that the FDA Cosmetics Direct portal, everything must be manually typed in. And if you have a huge line of products, that's going to take a really long time to type in all of your ingredients. The article that's linked down below estimates that every single product takes about 30 minutes to enter into the database. But there is an automation software that wants to make things easier for brands. It is called the Good Face Project. And the director of growth at Good Face, her name is Liz Zakay, said in a statement, quote, there are a lot of data points that you have to fill out. You have to enter your Inky list ingredient by ingredient. It's not a dynamic system. So if you're a brand with even just 20 products, it could take you a couple of days before you submit all of your MOCRA product listings. Good Face's software automates most of that data aggregation and enables the user to enrich the data. From there, the user can generate a structured product listing or an SPL file, and in one click, they can submit the SPL directly to the FDA's portal, bypassing 95% of the manual work. Liz calls it the TurboTax of FDA filings, which sounds about right. Now, another feature of the software is its ability to screen INCI lists against the US standards, understanding irritants or toxicities attached to the ingredients, and access to the platform's trade name library. So one thing that I've seen as somebody that used to dig super deep into ingredients is misspellings on an ingredient list. Some of them spelled so badly that I couldn't even tell what they were supposed to be. Do you remember Yuso water? Like, what even was that? I have no idea. I still don't know what that was. So what this software does is it double checks and makes sure that you've got all of your ingredients listed, and it'll also spit out information about other regulations. So for example, this is what I'm gathering it does. Let's say you have red 6 in an eyeshadow, and that's not allowed to be in an eye product. When you have that red 6 in there, it'll pop up. There'll be like a pop-up, I'm imagining, and it'll say something like, you can't have red 6 in an eye product. And that way, you know that you're violating that rule. Of course, subscribing does come at a cost, but one thing that I found interesting is that it's a sliding scale. So the smaller companies, the startups, don't have to pay as much as the big guys. Another cool thing about it is that Good Face is also keeping up with regulations outside the US to make sure that brands that want to sell in other countries are compliant. At the end of the article that's linked down below, it talks about how brands are rushing to get this done. And I'm kind of wondering how that happened, because this portal actually opened up in December of 2023. So they've had some time to get it done. I mean, even if you've got 30 minutes on each product, you've had 6 months to get it done. So, I mean, I guess there's other things going on within a brand. There's so many things that could happen, but for brands that are in a pinch trying to get this information to the FDA, this may be a good option for them. And finally, for our lighthearted story of the week, let's talk about NYX's Family Can't Be Framed campaign. Because we can't pick the families we are born into, and there's all kinds of families out there with all kinds of dynamics. Based on an insight from a GLAAD study, they found that nearly 40% of queer adults have faced rejection from their birth families. So in response to this, NYX chose to highlight groups of LGBTQIA+ individuals who have banded together to form chosen families. Their caption about the campaign on Instagram says, "Chosen family is unconditional love and support. No one knows that more than our center youth." Check out their chosen family stories featured in NYX Cosmetics Pride campaign. Chosen families include members of the House of Avalon Collective, which is a group of drag queens, stylists, and creatives, professional football cheerleaders, as well as LA LGBT Center members. House of Avalon member Marco Monroe said in a statement, "To us, family isn't always defined as the people who are related to you. Family is most importantly the people in your life who are honest, unconditionally loving, and will be there for you no matter what." NYX is participating in the LA Pride Parade today. And that, my friend, was What's Up in Makeup this week. Thank you so much for watching. And of course, as always, thank you so much to the What's Up in Makeup Facebook hunters. Their names are scrolling below me. Thank you so much for all of your submissions this week to our Facebook group to make sure I didn't miss anything. I appreciate you. Our live chat today will be at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Hopefully you can hang out and join us. I would love to have you. If you can't, it's very easy to find on the replay. You can listen to it like a podcast. I actually have a link to the What's Up in Makeup live chat podcast down underneath this video, where you will see all of the podcasts that we have done over the past year and a half or so. And if you're subscribed, it's actually even easier than that. You should be able to just go to your subscription feed and it's just sitting right there for you. So take a second, hit the subscribe button, because how many videos of mine have you watched at this point? If you've been watching a lot of them, just subscribe, just so that they're there and you don't have to think about it. It's an easier step for you, and also it makes me look cool to have more subscribers. So, you know, it's a win-win for both of us. But if you don't want to subscribe, that's okay too. You can head over to my channel page, click on the live tab. You'll be able to find the live chats housed there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed What's Up in Makeup today. If you would like to hang out just a little bit longer, YouTube should be recommending a couple videos for you over here to watch, including last week's top news segment is going to be right there. YouTube's going to pick the top video for you based on your current viewing history, what you're interested in. But if you have to go, I get it. It is no problem. Thank you for hanging out as long as you did, and mad love to you, and I will see you in a video very soon. Bye!